What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Soul Asher, and today I am going to show all of you new Elyon players the most important aspects of the game and give you a guide on everything you need to know in order to start the game, play the game efficiently, and push towards endgame. I'm not going to go too in depth on each subject, but the subjects that I'm going to speak about by the end of this video is going to be the pros and cons of each class, Ruby Shop and premium items, and like some of the important items that you want to look at in the Ruby Shop, leveling process, gearing process, and then also your character and like your character progression and subjects related to that, PvP dailies, and endgame. These are a lot of different subjects, and that's why I said I'm not going to go too in depth. I do have some guides on my channel that kind of cover the more in-depth features of these subjects. But let's go ahead and hop into it, okay? Alright, so I am on the official Elyon website just to overview the classes for you guys, okay? And what I'm going to do is speak upon my experience from the current patch, not the previous patches, because the current patch of Elyon is a little different than the previous patches in which I've spoken about. So, the first class that we have up is the Assassin. This class is the second most overpaid class next to Slayer, for good reasons. The PvE clear of Assassin is very fast when you are using Rainfall. Some people call it Bladefall. But essentially that skill scales with attack speed, and because of its innate accuracy, it allows assassins to PvE clear as well as PvP with a low skill entry level at a very efficient skill tier. So you don't need a lot of skill to play a Rainfall Assassin. And again, this is one of the skills that you're gonna want to look at once you get in game in order to spec into and focus your build around if you are a newer player. Now, the more higher skilled assassins that play melee builds can actually be somewhat near a god. It's not great in PvE, but in PvP, a melee assassin can 1 to 2 shot people. Let's say one combo, and it's very quick one combo in a matter of a blink of an eye. Anyone that's near their gear score, or even sometimes higher than their gear score, as long as your stats are optimized correctly. Now, so for PvE, I'm going to give Assassin a S tier. For PvP, I am going to give Assassin an S tier. For group PvP, I'm going to give it a B tier because of the high skill requirement, and just due to the fact that in arenas and as well as 3v3s, it is a little easier to avoid Rainfall. However, it's still possible to use that build. You're gonna have to move towards the melee assassin. Okay, so moving on towards Elementalist. Elementalist, I'm going to give an A tier in PvE because of its insane scaling early game, but late game it starts to fall off until you get extremely geared. So there is a lull period after like level 36 to 40. You start falling off, but all through 1 to 36 is probably the fastest leveler. But its damage starts to fall off slightly until you get geared. And once you get geared again, you will start doing a lot of damage. But it is a very high skill cap class in which you can get one shot. So like I said, it requires a lot more skill. And Ellie doesn't have any easy or cheesy builds to really run, even though it has ice block. It doesn't have a whole lot of defense outside of ice block and ice prison. So because of this, it's a high skill required class. In PvP, again, I'm going to give it an A tier. It is very good, very high skill requirement. This is not a class that I would recommend to beginners unless you're only trying to PvE. It's a little bit easier to manage PvE, but in PvP, you're gonna have to get very creative with this class. It doesn't have just a one button win. Gunner. Gunner is one of those classes where it has extremely high attack, extremely low defense. With this class, the wound on this class, it counters the current meta of lifesteal because most players are proccing lifesteal. So because of this, an extremely dedicated gunner with insane amounts of gear and knowledge can dominate, but even still, it's going to be very, very unlikely that most people reach that skill cap. It's still one of those classes that require a lot of skill. So for PvE, I'm giving Gunner a C tier. And that's because of the projectiles and the way that projectiles arc on this class. It's harder to cleave in AoE, even though it does have some AoE. For PvP, I'm going to give it an A tier, but that is assuming you are completely no-lifing and gearing the heck out of your gunner. This is an extremely gear-dependent class, and it still requires skill. That being said, we're moving on to Mystic. Mystic is PvE S tier, PvP S tier. Mystic requires management of your sunburst. It requires management. Like, it's not a support class. Don't get that wrong, okay? You have to manage your support skills, your shields, and you have to make sure that you land your mid-range to melee skills. Death Swarm does insane amounts of damage, but it's slow snails, dude. And most players are gonna move in and move out depending upon those Death Swarms. But if you can catch them with that, if you can catch them, like I said, with your sunlight, the class does a lot of damage in PvP. Its PvE is essential to every group because it boosts damage. Its solo capability is a little lower as far as like being able to manage the mobs. It doesn't have a lot of mob control like as like a Slayer or Warlord. Though it does have some utility skills for mobbing. It's one of the low tier mobbers, but even still, it's so essential to group PvP or group PvE. I'm sorry, and it's so like good at still soloing, like because of its kiting abilities. I still give it an S tier in PvE. And like I said, in PvP, like a good Mystic can literally solo squads. Warlord in PvP, and this pains me to say this, currently in PvP, I'm going to give Warlord a B tier. And this is because of the extreme nerfs to Warlord's damage. There are a very, very few Warlords that are 100% optimized. Stat optimization is more important on Warlord than gear. Health is important, but crit power is extremely important. Crit rate is extremely important. Like, you have to min-max all of your stats, including accuracy, 180 accuracy, like minimum on Warlord. But until your stats are completely optimized, you're just as squishy as every other class. And because every class is sliding transcendent skills, your block is almost useless. You can counter block, but if someone sees you sitting there and block, any good player is just gonna transcend you. So your block is useless. So Warlord has truly fallen from glory in this current patch. In PvP, I give it a B tier. In PvE, I still give it an A tier. It's really good in PvE. It has really good damage. Not as much mob control as Slayer. But that being said, moving forward, once we start getting an insane amount of skill points, and we really start getting geared, Warlord will rise again to S tier. It's just in the current, I'm basing these current ratings off of the average player base that I see. Slayer, S tier PvE, S tier PvP. This class can clear content as long as you optimize your stats and you optimize your Mana Awakening build. This class is phenomenal in every way, shape, and form. In PvP, you can 1vx. It has insane damage. Some of the hitboxes are broken to your advantage. I'm really hoping that they don't nerf the class, but they rework it. I would like to see Slayer require more skill, but as it currently stands, you can press 3 buttons and you can win on a Slayer. You could literally press 1 button and beat most people at their skill level if you are even like anywhere remotely geared. The class is absolutely astonishingly broken. That being said, it's still one of my favorite classes. It's still extremely fun to play. I just hope they will rework it so that people stop playing the class just because they want to be broken, and people who actually love the class and who picked it, like me from launch, will stop getting hated on. Keep that in mind. If you play the Slayer, you will be hated on. All right, so the next thing that we should talk about is the Ruby shop. So buying K-Coin is probably not worth it because coming up here in November, we're gonna have Black Friday sales. But the K-Coin, the prices are okay. I wouldn't buy those though, like I said. We're gonna hop in game here and look at the Ruby shop. You want to buy the packages, and the same thing for the website. I believe the packages are still available. Yeah, I bought all 3 packages from my account. But these packages are going to give you rubies as well as giving you in-game rewards. And if you scroll down, it tells you what each package gives you. The first pack and the $40 pack are the best too. And then this middle $30 pack, it's pretty decent because it gives you inventory and storage, which is essential. But I say the 4th pack because of the Stars Blessing. Stars Blessing is the best buff in the game. It gives you Honey XP, item drop rate, storage, and Luminous. And I would say, for that reason, I would say, even though Elyon is free to play, I consider it a subscription-based game because Stars Blessing is about $15, and any competitive player is 100% going to have that. Outside of that, the only other thing that's really important outside of Stars Blessing is really if you're a crafter, the jewel material bag is pretty important. But really the most important thing out here is a Luminous. You want to have a Luminous of your chosen color, which I recommend you go yellow, and you try and get a T3 or really T5 Luminous, depending on how much you want to pay. $30 will definitely guarantee you a T3, maybe a T4. What you do is you go same level, you smash 2 of the same level, so 2 tier 1s into a tier 1 for a tier 2, you smash 2 tier 2s into a tier 2 for a tier 3, so on and so forth up until tier 3, and then you start smashing tier 1s and hope for it to go to T4 and T5. That is how you would get to T5 the most efficient way, but I highly recommend it because these Luminous give you extra stats. For magic damage, you're going to go Altar. For physical damage, you're going to go Corona. Unless you're a warlord or like a squishy class, shield is good for people who want to survive, period. Like I see assassins using it, I see warlords using it, and I see mystics using it. But shield, honestly, I would roll that on any class. For PvP, especially large scale, shield is just phenomenal. But the main benefit of a Lumi are the extra rune attributes, not just the stats, but the rune attributes. At T5, you get 11 extra points, which means you can slot your runes more efficiently in your gear. The pets are kind of important. The outfits are kind of cool. They need to add more. I pray that Cacao Games, if you're watching this, don't add anything pay to win. We just want costumes. Literally, if you add more costumes, look at League of Legends. Americans will pay for costumes. We don't want pay to win. We literally just want more costumes. So as of right now, the cash shop is not pay to win. But I'm just hoping that they add more costumes, add more cosmetics, because that's what Americans really want to buy, dude. We definitely need more. With that being said, those are the most important things. For your loyalty, you can spend it on the Luminous EXP increase and Luminous drop rate increase. The gold's not bad, but I only really recommend the drop rate and the XP. Those are really the most important. Outside of that, like I said, you can also buy Stars Blessing, but it's only for a day. But I wouldn't recommend it. Outside of that, the leveling process. So let me leave my house here and I'm going to show you the leveling process. So essentially 1 to 20 is tutorial. After level 20 you're out of the tutorial, and the game does this to catch you up easier to the level 40 and the mid to end game content, right? So the game gives you a break in its leveling. Leveling up until 43 is literally tutorial. So if you think you're leveling fast, it's because you're still in the tutorial. The tutorial, like the actual game tutorial, ends at level, like I said, level 20. But you are still in the tutorial. You can PvP at level 35, but if you PvP at 35, you will get clapped. And you don't learn most of the concepts of the game until, like I said, around 42, 43. So you are still into the tutorial until you really hit like level 43. But when you start Vulpin, you're going to start here, Reclaimed Honor, at level 20. Literally, that's the lowest zone. It's the end of the actual game tutorial. And then the quest tutorial starts. The second tutorial. Don't let the game fool you. Just because you're in open world, you're still in the tutorial. For Antara, you're going to start here. And then you come closer towards your first stronghold type area, your conflict region. And then around like 35, you'll go to your first foothold. It's the same thing for Antara. You start here, go up the coast, up until the conflict zone, and then you go to your first foothold. And at 35, 36, 34, you will get an option to go south and complete blue quests. But I recommend only doing yellow and green quests. Those are most important. The blue quests do not help you level. The blue quests are for in-game. You either do RVRs for honor, or you do airship quests for pioneer tokens. And pioneer tokens are used for in-game materials. So blue quests are not priority while leveling. Grinding is the fastest way to level. However, yellow and green quests will give you all the materials you need in order to efficiently speed your character through the game and progress your character. For the gearing process, the quest will tell you to level gear. Do not enhance any gear that is not purple unless it tells you to in the quest line, because enhancing anything other than epic gear is a waste. So as you get gear, and the reason I'm missing my boots is because they're on my other character. Otherwise, I am full. Like, I have 2 legendaries, my pants and my boots, and then all epics and breakthroughs. Those are the only things that you enhance at in-game. So the gearing process can be explained more in depth. I do have a guide on my channel. Please watch it if you do not understand the gearing process. For character progression, your character progression is your skill attributes, which are dependent upon your runes. Your runes need to be leveled up after level 3. They can fail. If it's a transcendent, depending upon the transcendent, it can fail at level 2. A legendary transcendent can fail at level 2. The regular transcendent runes, they drop at tier 3, so it's better to stack the tier 3 transcendent runes, okay? So essentially, your skill attributes, which are based upon your runes, you get skill attributes per runes, and the best skill attributes are accuracy and skill attribute. These are why I'm slotting mostly accuracy and skill attribute runes here. I have a couple crits, but as you see, it's mostly accuracy and skill attribute. Crit are just placeholders, and I will replace those with either accuracy or skill attribute once I get around to it. And then essentially after your runes, your skill attributes becomes Mana Awakening, which Mana Awakening unlocks around level 35. So essentially you want to get to level 40 Mana Awakening before the season ends. I'm at level 30, I got 10 levels to go. Your Mana Awakening defines the path of your character. You can gain priority stats in these trees. For the green tree, you kind of gain a little bit of everything. It's balanced. For the orange tree, you gain agility, strength, and intelligence. and preparation. In the blue tree, you gain agility, strength, and intelligence. So between each node, you're going to gain main stats regardless. But once you get to the node, you're going to gain stats specific to that tree. So in the green tree, it's versatility and critical hit accuracy. You have to be careful because some of these nodes will decrease your stats and some of them will raise them. In the blue tree, it's critical hit dodge. In the orange tree, it's attack. And in the yellow tree, it's stamina. So each of these trees will determine how your character progresses and what you're able to do in the game. So you have to do research on this for your specific class. Okay, guys? Stat priority also comes from, it just doesn't come from that tree, it comes from your gear, because not just your runes, but the random effects and also the main stats of your gear. For your accessories, you also have main stats and you have random effects as well as fixed effects for each accessory. So you have to be very careful on how you're building your character. That way you can get as close to 180 accuracy as possible. And you can also be stacking your main stats in your gear and raising your vitality, raising your strength. If you're a melee character, raising your intelligence. If you're a caster, raising your agility. If you're an assassin or gunner. Okay. For PvP, you never want your PvP honor to hit 200. It caps at 200. You want to be spending this honor every time. That way you can get it to 0 and it can always stay below 200. That way you're not missing any rewards from this reward track. The most important reward track is the Festival of Mana. That way you get dimensional time increase scrolls. If you don't have a lot of time to play, the prosperity track is not bad. But if you have more time to play, you want to go Festival of Mana for the dimensional time increase. For your dailies, when you press escape, are at the top of the screen. You can do 10 transcended dungeons a day. However, it's going to be hard to have that many crystals. You buy those with laurel wreath pieces, in which you get from attendance each day. You can do 4 dungeons a day with rewards, and you can do as many more after that. You just won't get the completion reward. Quest letters are the blue quest letters that I told you. Those are either for RVR quests, which RVR quests can be obtained from conflict zones, and then the Pioneer quests, the Pioneer dailies, can be obtained at the slopes in the footholds. So you have a slope here, you have a slope here, and then you have a slope here. 2 footholds, and then your level 42 conflict zone. These are the 3 towns you get your airship dailies from, which again cost quest letters, in order to get Pioneer tokens, which can be used to purchase a White Lion mount, safe enhancement tools, epic reset scrolls, as well as death recovery scrolls. So you can pretty much get everything essential to this game from Pioneers, or you can get it from the honor vendor. Like anything you can't get from Pioneer, you can get from Honor. So a mix between PvE and PvP dailies will get you almost everything in this game that you need to progress your character. Okay, you guys? Everything else is going to come from your daily dimensional portals, which you have to scroll through each of these dimensional portals and figure out how you're going to allocate your dimensional portal time per day. I will probably make a more comprehensive guide on how dimensional portals work per level and what you want out of each dimensional portal. But as of right now, I'm just giving you guys a brief overview. Endgame in this game could potentially be clan wars, though I don't like the current state of clan wars because they're very buggy. Personally, I don't like clan wars. I'm going to be 100% upfront with that. I've seen people just doing really, particularly LOTD, doing some particularly some very bad exploits depending upon the map. It's really bad, man. And I really hope Kakao Games fix that or bans players like the guild LOTD that do shit like that, man. It's really bad and really disgusting. And it makes me never want to do clan wars. Though that is a part of Endgame, I don't recommend it. The fun parts of Endgame are going to be dungeons, going all the way up to stage 5, starting at stage 1. Stage 1 is through 25, and as your gear score increases, you can go up each stage. Transcended dungeons. The poison mist and the spikes are in game, but even after you complete all of these for character, you can go to the advanced dungeons. I'm not going to do any more of the advanced until I get to a tier 6 rune. That way I can get the tier 6 runes of the poison and the spike. I'm gonna take those to tier 6 first. Okay. And then outside of that, you also have time attack dungeons, which also give really good rewards too. So those are the in-game for PvE. Then you, like I said, the dimensional portals. Some of these don't even unlock till 46. Nosgard is a party area. Chaos Fortress is a party area. Frozen City, another party area. Required item level 620. Abandoned Underground is more in-game. And Wraith Monastery is hardcore PvP in-game. It says level 44, but if you come in here under geared, the chances of you getting slapped by both the mobs and players are high, okay? Because it goes up in stages. Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3, Stage 4. And at Stage 3 and 4, the mobs get hard. And the players that have made it there will probably one-shot you if you're anywhere below like 470 and not optimizing stats. Yeah. That is all of the, and even though it says weekly, it's still daily because these weekly dimensional portals pop throughout the time, like throughout they alternate the main hours of the day every 2 hours. So it's still considered a daily as well as your daily portals. Okay. So that is the majority of in-game outside of, like I said, PvP. The most important one is Burning Temple 3v3. I hope people start queuing Captain's Battle. That seems really, really fun. But most important one is Burning Temple 3v3. 1v1, 2v2, 3v3 are still fun. 1v1 it doesn't give rewards, so it's like kind of a meme. 2v2 and 3v3 are semi-important, but the most important is Burning Temple. So that is a brief overview of in-game Elyon. For the instance, for open world, you have these in-game zones here beyond the mana wall. You're recommended to go here at 45 plus, but you need a lot of accuracy to grind these mobs. 172 accuracy for these mobs, and it's around 180 the closer you get towards the higher zones. So yeah, 172 recommended, 195. Oh wait, 172 is my current accuracy. 190 is the recommended. I'm sorry. Even here, the recommended is 190. So you want to you want to reach that 180, 190 bracket as soon as possible. I noticed a extreme damage boost as I went to the mana wall with around 180 accuracy. So again, you guys, the importance of farming beyond the mana wall is the legendaries, the chance for legendary drops. They don't give you set bonuses, but legendary, if it drops legendary with good stats, man, that is an in-game piece of gear. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I know that was a lot of info. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to try and answer. I've been pretty busy lately, but I will see you guys next stream. Just an FYI, thanks to you guys, we have unlocked a new feature in the channel where we now have a membership feature similar to Twitch, where you can opt to join the membership, which will unlock badges and other perks for specific members in the channel. And I will also make sure to add you, any members who subscribe to our membership, into all of my video descriptions in order for your thanks. But yeah, thank you guys for your support. I'm so happy we could reach 4,000 subscribers. Peace and love, you guys. Have a good day.